Well, President Biden announced this week his new student loan welfare plan, one of the largest entitlement programs in history that could cost more than $300 billion. A key component of the agenda that was put together by Biden and socialist Bernie Sanders in 2020. And they think that people will be overjoyed by this latest giveaway. But our next guest says young people should be furious. Joining us now to tell us why is policy and communication specialist for a great organization, Americans for Tax Reform, Isabelle Morales. Isabelle, thank you so much for being here. First off,
thank you.
Why should people be outraged by Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, particularly young folks?
Well, to start, the Penn-Wharton budget model determined this plan could actually cost up to $1 trillion, with the cost of debt cancellation alone costing up to $519 billion. And as we all know, spending at this high of a level without paying for it will make inflation significantly worse. And right now, even if prices stopped rising altogether, the average American household will spend over $7,600 more this year due to inflation. And last year, they spent more due to inflation, thousands more. So while some may like receiving a lump sum of money at once, consider that it's these kinds of policies that over the past few years has already cost you and your family about $10,000. And it will get worse if we keep spending recklessly like this.
So in the end, I'm sorry,
yeah.
you wrote an article about this, which is really great. It's on the Americans for Tax Reform website. In the end, you've got other tax-paying Americans who paid off their debts, who didn't get a master's degree and then become a barista. They're going to be footing the bill. And what does this ultimately do to college costs if you now have these government loans that are going to be for tens of millions of people that are going to be paid for by the government?
Yeah, so this will ultimately cause colleges to raise their prices. Canceling student debt will signal to future borrowers that their debt will also be canceled at some point. So then college students will take on as much debt as they wish and expect no consequences from it. So colleges and universities will just continue to raise prices because their students don't care anymore. Another element of this is that borrowers with remaining balances after this cancellation may stop making aggressive payments or may not consider refinancing in hopes that more of their debt will be canceled in the future. So this distorts the market to a level I don't even think we can fully grasp.
The left created a problem, okay, by increasing dramatically the cost of these left-wing academia, right? Okay, the cost of college. Then the government created an even bigger problem by taking over the student loan program. And now the government is coming in and thinks we're all supposed to be happy about them trying to solve it. Now, the White House, Isabelle, has punted on the process on how they're going to prevent fraud and of course, the costs and whether tax hikes will be necessary to pay for this. You're at Americans for Tax Reform. How do you see it playing out? Do you think that they're going to try for it's going to be tax hikes? Or do you think, real quick, do you think that the Supreme Court ultimately gets involved here and this doesn't happen?
So there's a huge risk of this potentially having to be paid for in the future through taxpayer dollars. But right now, the administration wants to do this through executive order, which means that it wouldn't be paid for at all, which really contributes more to inflation. Regarding some of the legal issues that could come with this, the White House cited the HEROES Act, which was passed in 2003, and it was in response to the 9/11 attacks, basically granting the education secretary, the authority to grant students relief from their loans.
Totally not applicable to this situation.
Exactly. Even Fauci said that we were out of the pandemic phase of COVID-19.
Right.
So, I mean, the idea that this is the justification for potentially $1 trillion more in spending is insane. I hope that the courts will call this out for what it is.
All right. Isabelle Morales, Americans for Tax Reform. Thank you for your perspective on this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.